students. Now we shall go to the third session of Java and Internet Programming. In this session we will discuss about the TCP/IP reference model, finger protocol, newsgroups, Usenet, what is the World Wide Web, what is HTML, what is web browser, and what is HTTP and all. Now let us start with this TCP/IP reference model. TCP/IP reference model means Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. It is the network model used in the current internet architecture as well. Protocols are set of rules which govern every possible communication over a network. These protocols describe the movement of data between the source and destination or the internet. The figure represents protocols and networks in the TCP/IP reference model. This TCP/IP reference model is having four most important layers. The lowermost is network access layer, internet layer, transport layer, and application layer. So the details of this entire TCP/IP model is given in this second figure, that is with physical plus data link. Here we have ARPANET, SATNET, packet radio, LAN. In the network we have IP, internet protocol. In the transport layer we have transmission control protocol and UDP. In the application layer we have Telnet, FTP, SMTP, and DNS. About all these things we shall see in detail in the next coming slides. Now let us see the different layers of TCP/IP. What actually happens in different layers of this TCP/IP reference model. Let us see the first layer. This first layer is called as host to network layer. It is the lowest layer of all. Here protocol is used to connect to the host so that the packets can be sent over it. So it varies from host to host and network to network. In the internet layer, that is in the second layer, the selection of a packet switching network which is based on the connectionless inter-network layer is called a internet layer. It is a layer which holds the whole architecture together. It helps the packet to travel independently to the destination. Order in which packets are received in different form, the way they are sent. Internet protocol is used in this layer. The function of this internet layer is delivering IP packets, performing routing, and avoiding congestion. In the third layer, that is in transport layer, this transport layer decides if the data transmission should be on parallel path or single path. The functions such as multiplexing, segmenting, or splitting on the data is done by transport layer. The applications can read and write to the transport layer. The transport layer adds header information to the data. The transport layer breaks the message into small units so that they are handled more efficiently by the network layer. This transport layer also arranges the packets to be sent in sequence. So in the last layer, that is application layer, it specifies the specifications described a lot of applications that were at the top of the protocol stack. Some of them are Telnet, FTP, SMTP, DNS, etc. Now let us see what these applications will perform, what kind of works will be performed by this Telnet, FTP, SMTP, DNS, etc. Telnet, it is a two-way communication protocol which allows connecting to a remote machine and run applications on it. File transfer protocol is a protocol that allows file transfer amongst computer users connected over a network. It is reliable, simple, and efficient. SMTP, Simple Mail Transport Protocol, is a protocol which is used to transport electronic mail between a source and destination directed via a route. DNS, that is domain name server, It resolves an IP address into a textual address for hosts connected over a network. It allows peer entities to carry conversation. This is about your TCP/IP model, that is Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol reference model. It is having 4 layers and different kinds of specifications. Now let us see client and server model. What is this client and server model? A client and server networking model is a model in which computers such as servers provide the network services to the other computers such as clients to perform user based tasks. This model is known as client server networking model. An application program is known as client program running on the local machine that requests for a service from an application program known as server program running on the remote machine. A client program runs only when it requests for a service from the server, while the server program runs all time as it does not know when its service is required. That is, a client program runs only when its request for a service, whereas server is going to run all the time. It doesn't know when a request come to it, and it will respond according to the request. A server provides a service for many clients, not just for a single client. It follows the many to one relationship. Services are required frequently and many users have a specific client server application program. For example, the client server application program allows the user to access the files, send mail and so on. If the services are more customized, then we would have one generic application program that allows the user to access the services available on the remote computer. Now we shall see what actually the client and what is server. Client is a program that runs on the local machine requesting service from the server. Client is a program that runs on local machine requesting service from the server. A client program is a finite program, means the service started by the user and terminated when the service is completed. Server. A server is a program that runs on the remote machine providing services to the clients. When the client requests for a service, then the server opens the door for the incoming request, but it never initiates the service. The best example for client and server model is the results displayed by the universities over their websites. What actually happens here is a client, that is a student, opens a web page of a university and he enters into the result module where he selects his semester type, enters his register number and clicks on submit or go. Then automatically he will get his result. Once he gets his result, his function is over and its client's function is also over. The server is going to provide information continuously. The advantages of client server network. Centralized. The advantages of client server networks: centralized backup is possible in client server networks. Security. These networks are more secure as all the shared resources are centrally administered. Performance. The use of the dedicated server increases the speed of the sharing resources. It has scalability also. We can increase the number of clients and servers separately. Disadvantages of client server network. The traffic congestion is a big problem in client and server networks. When a large number of clients send requests to the same server, may cause the problem of traffic congestion. The best example for this is application for a post called by any authority. The applicants will wait until the last date of the submission of the application. On the last day, each and everyone starts uploading the application to that particular server. At that time we may get a message server is too busy or server not found. Such kind of problems will occur because at a single time most of the clients will be accessing that particular server. So this kind of problem we call it as a traffic congestion. It does not have a robustness of network, that is when the server is down then the client request cannot be met. Once if the server is down means there is no connectivity for the server, then each and every clients cannot be request of the clients cannot be met. A client or server network is a very defensive. Sometimes regular computer hardware does not serve a certain number of clients. In such situations, specific hardware is required at the server side to complete the work. Sometimes the resources exist in the server but may not exist in the client. For example, if the application is web, then we cannot take the printout directly on the printer without taking out the print view window on the web. Now we shall see what is this finger protocol. In computer networking, the name finger protocol and the finger user information protocol are simple network protocols for the exchange of human oriented status and user information. The finger protocol is an application level internet protocol that provides an interface between the finger command and the finger daemon. The finger daemon returns information about the users currently logged into a specific remote host. Simply we can, with the help of this finger protocol, we are able to know who is logged into that particular network. If you execute the finger command specifying a user at a particular host, you obtain specific information about the user. The finger protocol must be present at the remote host and the requesting host. Finger uses TCP as its underlying protocol. Usenet and newsgroup. It is a system of special interest discussion groups called newsgroups, to which readers can send or post messages which are then distributed to other computers in the network. Each newsgroup is a discussion group focused around a specific topic. So here Usenet is a special interest discussion groups and collectively it is called as a news group. Now we shall see what is this World Wide Web. World Wide Web, which is also known as a web, is a collection of websites or web pages stored in web servers and connected to local computers through the internet. These websites contain text pages, digital images, audios, videos, etc. Users can access the content of these sites from any part of the world over the internet using their devices such as computers, laptops, cell phones, etc. The www along with the internet enables the retrieval and display of text and media to your device. The building blocks of the web are web pages, which are formatted in HTML and connected by links called hypertext or hyperlinks and accessed by HTTP. These links are electronic connections that link related pieces of information so that users can access the desired information quickly. Hypertext offers the advantage to select a word or phrase from text and thus to access other pages that provide additional information related to that word or phrase. Now let us see what is this HTML, hypertext markup language. HTML is a standard markup language which is used for creating web pages. This describes the structure of web pages through HTML elements or tags. These tags are used to organize the piece of content such as heading, paragraph, table, image and more. You don't see the HTML tags when you open a web page as browsers. These browsers does not display the tags and use them only for render the content of the web page. In simple words, HTML is used to display text, images and other resources through a web browser. Now let us see what is web browser. A web browser, which is commonly known as a browser, is a program that displays text, data, pictures, videos, animation and more. It provides a software interface that allows you to click hyperlink resources on the World Wide Web. When you double click the browser icon installed on your computer to launch it, you get connected to the World Wide Web and can search Google or type a URL to the address bar. In the beginning, browsers were used only for browsing due to their limited potential. Today they are more advanced. Along with browsing, you can use them for emailing, transferring multimedia files, using social media sites and participating in online discussion groups and more. Some of the commonly used browsers include Google Chrome, Safari, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer and more. Now let us see what is this HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol is an application layer protocol which enables www to work smoothly and effectively. It is based on a client server model. The client is a web browser which communicates with the web server which hosts the website. This protocol defines how messages are formatted and transmitted and what actions the web server and browser should take in response to different commands. When you enter a URL in the browser, the HTTP command is sent to the web server and it returns. When we open a website using a browser, a connection to the web server is opened and the browser communicates with the server through HTTP and sends a request. So, here the HTTP is carried over TCP or IP to communicate with the server. The server processes the browser's request and sends a response and then the connection is closed. Thus, the browser retrieves content from the server for the user. This is about our TCP IP reference model, news groups, Telnet, SMTP, DNS, web browser, HTTP and Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Thank you.